I'm your host Priya, and today we'll be making another chicken curry. And today it's going to be a hearty chicken curry with potatoes and tomatoes. So let's try that. Let's go through the ingredients first. Of course, we'll need chicken. I have here about 1.5 kilos of chicken. That would be about 5 pounds. And one very large tomato that I've chopped up. You can use 2 small tomatoes if you have. 3 new potatoes. New potatoes are small. Their skins are very tender. All I need to do is just wash the skin, scrub it to make sure that there's no soil or dirt on it. Scrub it clean, and I can cook it with the skin on. They're kind of small, and they can be cooked with the skin on. So I've left them whole because if I cut them up, they would go brown before I could finish this video. So I will be cutting them up. I have here about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic that I've chopped up, and about a piece of ginger that I've chopped up as well. And if you like, you can make a paste out of it, but I'm going to leave them like this for today. And then the spices, we'll need 2 tablespoons or 2 to 3 tablespoons of coriander powder, 1 tablespoon of roasted curry powder, 1 tablespoon of chili powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, or pinch, and not too much. And then of course curry leaves. Mine are frozen and they look funny, but you could use fresh and that should be better. A piece of rampa or pandan leaf that I've broken down, and of course my whole spices, cinnamon, cloves, and cardamom pods, and just you know, a few of them, so two each maybe, and a piece of cinnamon, and 1 large onion chopped. Of course you need salt to taste, and oil for frying, and some water if we don't get enough from the chicken. So let's get chicken. So first things first, I've just chopped up the potatoes into bite-sized pieces, and I have them in water so that they don't oxidize. But if, you know, because I'm just doing this video in steps, but of course you don't need to do that. You can just have it all ready to go. Okay, so now let's get the pot heated up on the stove and cook. Okay, so once the pot has been heating up, I'm using a heavy bottom pan today because it's going to have very little gravy, and I wanted a even heating. You could do it in a clay pot as well. So I'm just going to add in about 1 tablespoon of oil. Just move the oil around. It just helps heat it up faster, that's all. And also then the pot doesn't dry out. Okay. Grab myself a wooden spoon. I'll need that. Okay, and then drop in your whole spices. And that can heat up with the oil because the purpose is for it to flavor the oil, of course. And I like how not sure if you can see that, but the cardamom really just does plump up in the oil, which is nice. So usually I would just open the pod before I put it in to help the seeds flavor the oil, but I couldn't get the pod open. So, alright, I'm gonna drop in my curry leaves and rampa, pandan leaves. Give that a second. That too will flavor the oil. And then my onions go in. And you just want your onions to become soft and translucent. I don't need to brown them, because when the curry starts to cook, the onions will pretty much almost disintegrate. Not completely, but almost. So it's going to be a low and slow cooking. you need to get a pot with a tight-fitting lid. So that's the reason I could not use my clay pot, but if yours could, then you can use that. Okay, so the onions are nice and soft now, and you can add in your ginger and garlic. And again, if you don't like the pieces of the ginger and garlic in your food, then by all means you can make a paste out of it, and that way you'll consume all of it, which is good, right? Both ginger and garlic is good for you. Okay, I have my heat on a medium low, not very hot. And now I'll just drop in my spices. So I can put in the turmeric, chili powder, coriander powder, and roasted curry powder. This is the Sri Lankan roasted curry powder, and it has a very distinctive smell and taste to it. Okay, I'm just dry roasting them, spices, and that's just to get the raw taste out of it very quickly. But because there's chili in there, I want to stop that from making me sneeze. So I'll add in my tomatoes and give that a whirl. I'm going to add in a little bit of water. I'll use the one for my potatoes for that. I want the tomatoes to cook down further, so I'll just add in a little bit of water and give that a minute or two till all of the tomatoes soften slightly. Okay, so you can see that the tomatoes have softened up and the oil is starting to come out on the top. At this point you can add in your salt to taste. I'll add in a little now, and you know, if I need to I can adjust it a little later. So give that a good mix. This really helps thicken up the gravy, and you get it's not dry, but it's more like a thick gravy. So now you can add in all your chicken. So add in your chicken and give that a stir. Okay, and we are not going to add in any water because you'll see that there'll be enough from the chicken. So we want the potatoes to cook with the chicken, and that's why I didn't put in all of the salt, because if you put in too much salt then it's hard to get the potatoes to cook fast enough. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a good mix and drop my heat down. Actually, I'll wait a few minutes. I'll wait for it to come up to sort of a boil, where I'll see a little bit of the boil, and then I'll drop my heat down. Okay, you can see that the curry is now boiling, so I'll just put a lid on and also drop my heat down to a low, so just between a medium low and a low, and give it about a good 10 to 15 minutes. So low and slow, and we'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes now, and I'm just going to test to see if the potatoes are cooked. Looks like they need a little longer. just a little longer. But you see all this gravy that came? It's the water that comes out of the chicken, so you really don't need to add any water to it. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to, if you don't have enough gravy and you would like more, at this point you can add in some water. And I would also adjust my salt. So let me just taste for salt. It can use just a little bit more salt. So, and if it's fine for you, then you don't have to add in any salt. And now, I don't want this much gravy. So I'm going to keep my pot open. And then the gravy also thickens up a little bit because of the potatoes. So I'm gonna keep the pot open and cook it for maybe another 5 minutes or so, just because the potatoes are not as soft as I want them. Let me just test it here. Yeah, they're cooked, but I want them slightly softer than that. Okay, so I'll leave it for another 5 minutes, and then it's ready. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes, and you can see that the gravy has thickened up, and of course the potatoes are cooked through. So this is what I want. I'm going to turn the stove off, and like all meat curries, you don't dish out right away, because you want it to sit in the pot and feel rested before you can dish it out. So give it a good, 5-10 minutes or so. Get everything else ready in the meantime, and then you can dish out the curry, and it will look and taste really good. So I'll dish it out and get back to you. So there you go, folks. Today's dish: chicken curry with potatoes and tomatoes, and in a nice thick gravy. I've just garnished it with curry leaf. You could also use fresh coriander leaves or cilantro and spread it on top. It'll look really pretty and it'll taste good as well. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and do try the recipe out and let me know how you'd like it, and give me your feedback. I'd love to hear from you. Post your comments below, and you can also like me on a Facebook page, Sunnylanka, Sri Lankan Homestyle Cooking, and share your recipes with me. I'd love to know what you're cooking today. I thank you for all the feedback that I have been getting, and a little more activity now, slowly starting up on Facebook, so do join in, and we can get a conversation going on what's cooking and all about Sri Lankan cooking. So thanks again for joining me, and until next time, Ayubowan.